Hello, my name is Stephanie Martinez, and this is my Connectionism model. I chose to do my Connectionism model over code switching effects on a bilingual student. The student that I had was a 7-year-old boy. He was given a variety of words in different topics, both Spanish and English. The reason for this was because I tried to find the words that rhymed the most closely to each other. As you can see here, there's three different pairs. First pair is baile, means dance in Spanish. Bite. The next pair is boy and hoy. Hoy is today in Spanish. And the next pair is pray and rey. Rey means king in Spanish. Okay. So these three pairs, they all rhymed. Baile and bite don't necessarily rhyme, but they have that same diphthong, and that goes for the other ones as well. Boy, oi. They have that oi in them. Pray, ray. They have the diphthong a. Since these words have similar diphthongs, I wanted to see how the student would pronounce each and one of these words. The reason for that is because although these words are similar, the way they pronounce it takes effect because it depends on the person that they're communicating with. Because their first language is obviously Spanish and then they're learning English. So they tend to remember a word in their dominant language than the language they're just now learning. For example, when this young 7-year-old was communicating with me, he understood that he could code switch because I am a bilingual person. I speak both languages, so I will be able to understand what he is trying to communicate. However, if he were to speak to somebody that was not bilingual and only spoke English, they would not understand what he is trying to communicate accurately with them. They're using the right words, and that doesn't make him delayed or behind in any way. It's just they're an individual that is learning a new language. They are also most likely to want to pronounce a word in their dominant language. For example, pray. When I showed this word to the 7-year-old student, he was having a difficult time trying to say the letter P because he saw this word and automatically knew how to say re. But he had to add that P to it at the beginning. So, in order for him to be able to say pray, he had to sound that P sound at the beginning. P, pray. It definitely did help him that I picked words that rhymes with each other and had the similar ending to each other. That way, he only really had to focus on one or two letters in order to be able to pronounce that word. Now we're moving on to boy and oi. Oi, it's really only pronouncing the O and the Y. The H is silent. But with the word boy, you have to add the B sound. So if a 7-year-old was communicating with an individual, he is most likely to say oi instead of boy. Because in the way that he is trying to pronounce it, it's going to sound more like he's saying oi instead of boy. Reason for that is because he is still adapting to this new word, to this new language that he's trying to learn. Overall, having the same ending and picking words that have the similar diphthongs did make it very easy for the 7-year old boy to be able to pronounce these words very accurately. However, the effect in code switching is being able to remember the words and how that is listening. Overall, the 7-year old boy was able to communicate accurately and identify each and one of these words and pronunciation. The only difficulty is pronunciation because when they are trying to communicate with another individual, a certain word might sound different and they might have some miscommunication errors. And that primarily has an effect on how one hears a word, how one chooses to listen, what a bilingual student is trying to communicate with them, especially a teacher, because they are the ones that are listening more and trying to figure out how they can properly communicate with others around them. And it does make it difficult because they are learning a new language, and adapting to that new language comes with obstacles that they are trying to overcome in order for them to be able to fluently speak Spanish and English.